For as long as I can remember, my dog has been a source of endless fascination, and, if I'm honest, more than a bit of envy. There's something about the way she approaches life with unfiltered enthusiasm, unwavering loyalty, and a downright miraculous ability to find joy in the most mundane things. As I watched her chase her tail, sniff every blade of grass on our morning walk, and nap sprawled across the sunniest patch of the living room floor, I began to wonder, what would it actually be like to live as she does, even for just one day? Would it change the way I see my world? Would I discover something about myself, or about the simple art of happiness? I decided to find out. For 24 hours, I resolved to live like my dog. The day began before sunrise, just as it always does for her. I woke up, not to the blare of an alarm, but to the sound of her gentle breathing at the foot of my bed. She always wakes up when she's ready. No snooze buttons, no reluctance. So I tried to follow suit, stirring awake, stretching luxuriously, and letting my senses adjust to the day. I padded to the window, just as she often does, and watched the world outside begin to come alive. There was a kind of peace in simply being present, noticing the way the morning light crept across the grass, the subtle chorus of birds greeting the dawn. I realized that my dog's first moments are never rushed. She greets each day with curiosity, not dread. Breakfast, for her, is a highlight. I prepared a simple meal, nothing fancy, just some oatmeal, since she eats the same food every day, and I ate it with the same single-minded focus she brings to her bowl. No scrolling through my phone, no mental to-do lists, just eating, savoring, and being grateful for the meal in front of me. I noticed flavors and textures I usually miss. I realized how much I usually take for granted, distracted by the next task at hand. After breakfast, it was time to explore. My dog's favorite activity is the morning walk. She doesn't walk with purpose, at least not in the human sense. She meanders, stopping to sniff, to listen, to look. She never seems to care how long it takes or how far she goes. I tried to emulate this, resisting my usual urge to check my pace or plot a route. Instead, I let my senses guide me. I stopped to notice the roughness of tree bark, the way dew clung to leaves, the subtle shift in the wind. I greeted passers-by with the same openness she shows, tail wagging, eyes bright, always ready to make a new friend. It was liberating to wander without agenda, to let the world unfold moment by moment. When we returned home, she did what she does best, found a sunny spot and settled in for a nap. At first, I felt restless. There was so much to do, so many emails to answer, chores to tackle. But I reminded myself, dogs don't worry about what needs to be done next. They live in the now. So I stretched out next to her, letting the warmth of the sun seep into my skin. I closed my eyes and let my mind drift. I felt my breath slow, my muscles relax. It wasn't just rest. It was a kind of surrender, a letting go of the need to control every moment. When I woke, I felt refreshed in a way I hadn't in months. The rest of the day unfolded as hers would. Playtime was next. No structured workout, no self-consciousness, just pure, unadulterated fun. I tossed a ball across the yard, chased it down, laughed out loud at the sheer silliness of it all. I rolled in the grass, felt the earth beneath me, let myself be a little wild. My dog never worries about looking foolish. She revels in the joy of movement, the thrill of the chase. I tried to do the same, and in doing so, I remembered what it felt like to play without reservation, to lose myself in the moment. Lunchtime was another mindful affair, eaten with the same gratitude and presence as breakfast. I didn't multitask, didn't rush. I let myself be nourished, both body and soul. Afterwards, it was time for another walk. This time, a little slower, a little more contemplative. My dog loves to revisit familiar places, to check in on all her favorite smells and sights. I realized that there's comfort in routine, in the small rituals that anchor our days. I let myself appreciate the familiar, finding new beauty in old haunts. Throughout the afternoon, I watched her interact with the world. She greeted every visitor with enthusiasm, tail wagging, eyes bright. She didn't judge, didn't hold grudges, didn't analyze motives. She simply accepted people as they were, offering love without expectation. I tried to do the same, setting aside my usual reservations and letting myself connect. Even if just for a moment, it was freeing to let go of cynicism and embrace the simple goodness in others. As the day wore on, I noticed how attuned she was to her needs. When she was tired, she rested. When she was hungry, she ate. When she was bored, she sought out stimulation, whether it was a toy, a walk, or simply sitting at the window to watch the world go by. I realized how often I ignore my own needs, pushing through fatigue, skipping meals, numbing boredom with mindless scrolling. Living like my dog meant listening to my body, honoring its rhythms, and responding with kindness. Evening brought another round of play, a burst of energy that seemed to come from nowhere. She chased her tail, leapt onto the couch, invited me to join in. I laughed, feeling a lightness I hadn't felt in ages. I realized that joy doesn't need to be complicated or scheduled. It can arrive unexpectedly in the simplest of moments. Dinner was once again a mindful affair. I ate slowly, savoring each bite, grateful for the nourishment. Afterward, we settled in for some quiet time. She curled up at my feet, content just to be near. I put away my phone, turned off the TV, and let myself simply exist in the moment. I reflected on the day, on all I had learned by seeing the world through her eyes. As night fell, she began her bedtime ritual. A final lap around the yard, a drink of water, a few minutes of cuddling. I followed suit, letting myself unwind, letting go of the day's worries. I realized that she never carries the weight of yesterday or the anxiety of tomorrow. She is fully present, always. Throughout the day, I learned so much from living like my dog. I learned to start each day with curiosity, not dread. I learned to savor my meals, to walk without purpose, to rest without guilt. I learned to play, to connect, to embrace the simple pleasures of life. I learned to listen to my body, to honor its needs, to let myself be nourished and restored. But perhaps most importantly, I learned about love. My dog greets every moment with an open heart. She loves unconditionally, forgives easily, and never hesitates to show affection. She doesn't hold back, doesn't worry about being hurt, doesn't keep score. She just loves, fully and freely. I realized how often I guard my own heart, how rarely I allow myself to be truly vulnerable. Living like her, even for just one day, showed me the beauty of loving without reservation. I also discovered the importance of routine. Dogs thrive on predictability, on the comfort of knowing what comes next. Their days are anchored by meals, walks, play, and rest. I realized how much I crave that same sense of stability, how grounding it can be to have simple rituals that bring structure to my day. Living like my dog also taught me about resilience. She doesn't dwell on the past or worry about the future. If something upsets her, a loud noise, a missed treat, she shakes it off and moves on. She doesn't carry grudges or regrets. She lives in the present, fully engaged, fully alive. I realized how much energy I waste on things I can't change, how much happier I could be if I learned to let go. At the end of the 24 hours, as I settled into bed with my dog curled up beside me, I felt a profound sense of peace. I realized that happiness isn't about having more, doing more, or being more. It's about being present, being grateful, and being open to the simple joys that life has to offer. It's about loving deeply, playing freely, and resting when you need to. It's about living in the moment, just as my dog does. Of course, I know that life can't always be this simple. There are responsibilities, challenges, and complexities that dogs don't have to face. But I also know that I can carry some of what I've learned into my everyday life. I can start my days with curiosity. I can savor my meals, walk without purpose, play without reservation. I can listen to my body, honor its needs, and let myself rest. I can love more openly, connect more deeply, and let go of the things I can't control. Living like my dog for 24 hours was more than just an experiment. It was a lesson in mindfulness, gratitude, and joy. It was a reminder that happiness isn't something to be chased. It's something to be found, right here, in the present moment. My dog has always known this, Now, thanks to her, maybe I do too. So, the next time you watch your dog chase her tail, roll in the grass, or nap in a sunny spot, remember, there's wisdom in her way of living. There's magic in her ability to find joy in the ordinary. And maybe, just maybe, if we try to live a little more like our dogs, we'll discover a happiness that's been right under our noses all along. As the night deepened and the world outside grew quiet, I listened to her soft breathing, her gentle sighs of contentment. I felt a sense of connection, not just to her, but to the world around me, to the simple pleasures that make life worth living. I realized that, in her own way, my dog is a teacher, a guide, a reminder of what truly matters. And so dashed, I drifted off to sleep. I made a promise to myself to carry a bit of her spirit with me every day, to wake with curiosity, to savor each moment, to rest when I need to play without fear, to love without hesitation, to live, as she does, fully present, fully alive. Because, in the end, living like my dog wasn't just about understanding her world. It was about rediscovering my own. And for that, I am endlessly grateful.